What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Hooked on Books, with a weekly update, letting you know what I've been up to this past week and what I will be up to next week and beyond. So you'll remember in my last video, I was reading Steven Erikson's House of Chains, the fourth book in the Malazan saga. I finished it on Thursday, gave it a rating of 3 out of 5 stars. It started off well with the introduction of an interesting character, Kasa Orlong, who is very similar to Conan the Barbarian and had a very interesting story arc, which I enjoyed following for the first 250 pages or so, which that was a little bit different than normally what Steven Erikson does from the get-go. In previous books, he usually goes from character to character all over the place, which is rather confusing. And the second third of the book really dragged for me. Nothing was really resolved until the third third of the book, where he ties up some loose ends, and there's a couple of really good moments there, particularly with the climax, which I found quite good. But the middle third really dragged for me. And you're probably asking, well, why continue the series? That's part of the allure of it. It's designed to be confusing because the author isn't stupid. Steven Erikson has designed the whole 10-book series to be confusing, and it's designed to be reread. So I know a few people on the internet are in their third reread of it, so that's particularly interesting, and it's confusing as fuck. So I'll leave it there, but I was going to read Midnight Tides, the next volume, in December, but a book like House of Chains just wrecks you mentally. You need some decompression time after a book like that, which brings me to the next book here I want to talk about briefly. Is the first book in the NYPD Read series by James Patterson. Now, a book like this is the perfect title to read after a behemoth like House of Chains. It's quick, it's light. I read this in 2 or 3 sittings. They're designed that way, to read very quickly. Now, I did enjoy this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5, but as time goes on, I'm finding James Patterson books tend to be a little bit formulaic. They can be predictable at times, but they're a bit of fun in between the bigger books. And also I managed to get my copy this week of Ken Follett's new book Never, which I mentioned briefly in a previous video. I'm not going to read this one straight away because next week I am diving straight into Needful Things. It's a book I've wanted to reread for a little while. Some fellow booktubers on the internet have recently reviewed it and revisited it, and I agree with them that it is one of King's most underrated books ever. It doesn't get enough mentions on the internet, and so I thought I'm going to throw my 2 cents worth in because I actually love the book. It's in my top 5. That comes from the top 10 previous video I've done recently, and this will be my 3rd or 4th reread of it. I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm going to be doing an in-depth review hopefully next weekend. What I'm going to do is kick off a new segment for the channel called The Works of Stephen King Revisited, and I think it's the perfect book to kick that off. So I'll be doing an in-depth review and something a little bit different. I'm going to be comparing it against its 1993 adaptation, which is going to be a common theme on the channel. I think it's very interesting to compare books and their adaptations, and there's no shortage of work from King to examine and talk about and discuss and review and all that sort of thing. So the Needful Things adaptation from 1993, I particularly enjoy that. I've seen it at least 12 times, so it's going to be a very interesting segment. In a bit of non-book related stuff that's been happening this week, myself and my wife actually had the opportunity to go along and see the new James Bond film, No Time to Die. We both really enjoyed it. It goes for about 2.5 hours, and I'm not going to go into too much about it because there's too many spoilers here, but I will say that it's certainly Daniel Craig's best Bond film, I believe, to date, and there's a lot of cool stuff in it, but I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but get along and see it if you get the chance. It is a fantastic movie. That wraps up this week, so next week, hopefully, if I can get through Needful Things, which I'm hoping to, I'll be launching the Works of Stephen King segment on the channel, and I'll probably aim to do one of those videos once a fortnight, and we'll see how it goes, but I'm certainly looking forward to it. So until next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll continue to put out the content. Thanks guys, see ya.